Hey everybody, it's Jay Witz here from the Pokemon Trading Card Game Show Profit, and today is the kickoff for what's going to be an almost daily series of Card of the Days. Now, I want to thank you guys a lot for all your comments and support on the last video that I put up with the contest. I'm absolutely shocked. It's been a little bit under 24 hours. I went and checked, and I've got something like 550 comments. That's insane. I can't really process it all at once. There's so many comments, I can only read so many chunks of information, but you guys basically gave me Card of the Days for, 2 years, almost, if you guys don't have duplicates. But the fact stands, you guys give me a ton of stuff to work with, and I really appreciate that, and because you helped me out, I'm going to try and keep on giving you guys good Card of the Days with good information. Now, I'm planning on having all these shot in one take. I might, fumble around a little bit, but that's going to be the best way for me to get as many videos out as I can every single day, and I'm hoping to still give you guys good information with a good presentation. It'll keep getting better just as I practice, the same way Profit's working. But enough of me talking, let's get to today's card, which is Tyrogue from Heart Gold Soul Silver. He's also in Call of Legends, and he's definitely an interesting card. He's a rare, and Tyrogue's main appeal is that he's a natural opponent to Cleffa. Cleffa's quickly becoming the most popular setup Pokemon in Heart Gold Soul Silver on because he's got free retreat, a chance to wall and not take any damage with Sweet Sleeping Face, and he lets you shuffle your hand in your deck and draw 6 cards. It's all extremely good, and the appeal is there. Now, the idea behind Tyrogue is if your opponent starts with just a Soul Cleffa, and you can get a Tyrogue out, you can use his attack, Mischievous Punch, to hit for 30 damage, KO Cleffa, and either start by taking one prize really quickly, or if your opponent just has that one Cleffa, you can donk. Now, I know, obviously, we tried to get past donks by moving on from the black and white rules of Majestic Dawn on, moving to Heart Gold Soul Silver on, but that doesn't mean that it still can't happen. After all, for any of you guys who played in the Neo days, Tyrogue was already a Pokemon that could get turn 1 wins against, believe it or not, Cleffa. It was actually a lot harder because you had to flip a coin in order to do your attack no matter what, due to the difference in the baby rule, but it's just interesting to see how history is repeating itself. Now, do I think Tyrogue's a good play? You gotta look at a couple of different things. First is that this format, I've noticed, most lists are having a lower basic count. Even having just 10 or even 9 basic Pokemon in your whole deck isn't too uncommon, and because of that, it's actually not that unrealistic to have your opponent starting with just one Pokemon. And if 4 of those Pokemon are Cleffa, then they have a pretty good chance of starting with just Cleffa, which makes the Tyrogue donk actually pretty possible. Now, the one thing that kind of stinks is if you start with Tyrogue, they start with Cleffa, and they get the call on the coin flip. If they go first, they're likely going to be able to play supporter, set up, use their Cleffa, and even potentially get the right flip on Cleffa for him to stay asleep and be entirely immune to your Tyrogue. So you do kind of run a risk running him. However, I think that Tyrogue is great as a one-of card. That way you're not trying to start with Tyrogue and donk Cleffas, but if the opportunity's there, you can easily search him out. He's got free retreat and a 0 energy attack, so he's extremely easy to get out and do the damage. All you have to have is something to search a Pokemon and a way to retreat your active if you start with something that isn't Tyrogue. Things like Magnemites, Tepigs, all kinds of stuff like that just have 1 retreat cost. All you have to do is attach an energy and retreat, and it doesn't matter because you're using the 0 energy attack that Tyrogue already has. Other things on Tyrogue, like his no resistance and no weakness, don't really matter because he has 30 HP, and you're only going to be using him for taking those cheap knockouts. Other than the other baby Pokemon Cleffa, some people are using Magby. I guess Tyrogue could knock out a Magby. Tyrogue could knock out another Tyrogue if it gets popular enough. And it can knock out Hoppip, which actually isn't completely unreasonable, considering the Jumpluff's getting a small amount of hype. And I would just love it if you knock out a Hoppip, because I hate that little jerk. Otherwise, I think Tyrogue's a solid play as a one-of card. I've been using it in all my decks, and I think that it's a pretty solid choice. It's not the best card in the format, and you really don't have to run it, but with the way I see Cleffa continually being hyped up as the best starter Pokemon, you might as well just run one card that could end the game really quickly with a little bit of luck. Even if it's just a 50% chance of getting that donk against Cleffa, it's pretty nice, and in a tournament like Nationals, you're definitely going to want to have that advantage really quickly. Another thing to note is because Tyrogue could be out, you might want to stop running 4 Cleffa in each of your decks because you run that risk of starting with him. 2 or 3 seems to be the correct amount, or even just 1 if you're using him as a consistency booster, but almost every competitive deck I've seen runs at least 1 Cleffa, so running at least 1 Tyrogue seems to be a pretty good way to combat this. As far as playability, I'm going to give Tyrogue an 8 out of 10. This format's going to be really heavy with Cleffa, and Tyrogue's the perfect way to counter it. It's also nice if you're just taking that 1 prize mid to late game, depending on whenever your opponent puts a Cleffa up, and I think he's a pretty solid counter card that can fit in almost every single deck. As far as artwork, the Tyrogues don't really look that great, whether it's Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or Call of Legends. I like the Call of Legends one a little bit better, but artworks really doesn't stand out in any particular way, and I'm going to give that a 4 out of 10. Tyrogue's not really that pretty of a Pokemon either. So, that's my review on Tyrogue, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I'll continue getting your guys' suggestions, and we're going to have Card of the Days 6 days a week and an episode of Profit every Friday. Thanks a ton for watching. Tune in tomorrow for a Fact of the Day. Peace!